How we doing, everybody? Matthew coming at you again. Just a little impromptu video here. I really wasn't planning on making a video, but it's been a while, and you can say I even shaved everything for the occasion. So I'll show you what I've got here on the Ford. We've been making some slow progress. The health has been down just a little bit, and we had some issues with some mechanical issues here. I'll show you that in a minute, and we'll get through this. So first of all, I guess we'll get into the mechanical issues. My good old trusty Grex here. Y'all have heard me talk about the brain issues and the forgetting things. Well, I was working. Let me try to put this down just a little bit. I was working on the truck here, the Ford, and it was a day where I wasn't feeling good, so I'd mixed up some clear, and I was going to spray some clear, and I was real shaky, and I did not put the lid on, and we're still up a little too high. I didn't put the lid on, so I'm shaking around, and I had pretty well full cup, and it shakes all out and gets down to this little rod here. It's supposed to move back and forth. And I thought I had all cleaned up when I got done. Well, they ended up getting pretty well locked in there. And they tell you not to take this apart unless it's necessary, you know. Well, I'd already had a part before. So, in my mind, I knew how it came apart. And of course, there was a book down here that tells you explosive view, you know. But I'm a genius at this stuff, in my mind, and no problem. So I start pulling parts and ripping, snorting, tearing, and I ripped the whole back end off, and I come to this. Well, of course, my Badger here, which I have hooked up at the moment. There's really, you can take this whole thing apart without having to take there's no need to take this out to get all this apart. And so I start taking this apart, and there's this big brass, and I know Hunter's gonna start laughing. There's this big brass thread thing in here, so I got me a screwdriver here. It fits there perfectly. And I torqued down on it, and like, man, that thing's really stuck. I didn't remember tightening up that tight when I put it in before, because I had all this out before and I greased it and cleaned it all. And I put some more torque on it, and still nothing. I was like, man, I can't really hold it with this hand. And so I really torqued down on it again, and I was like, alright, I need something to hold this thing with while I put some more pressure on it. So I take the cap off, and I go out to the little workshop I have out here, and I stick it down in a vise like this, and I could still just use one hand. I won't put too much pressure on it, and I put some more torque on it. It's like, it just will not turn. So I grabbed two hands and reluctantly, and I put some little bit of pressure on there, and still nothing. Like, holy cow! So it's coming out there. So I put some pressure on it, and a little bit of brass comes flying out. I'm like, well, something happened at least. So, well, I can buy the brass thing. That's no big deal. I can buy a little brass thing. It's gotta come out there now because it's already, you know. So I bear down on, put some pressure on there, and by that time the whole side of this casing over here comes flying out, and so I made some pretty bad faces, and like, well, that wasn't so good. So I come back in, sit down, and like, well, now that whole airbrush is shot. It's junk. So after I sit and stew a while and calm down some, I think, well, I'll just take everything off of it that I can save and for parts, and I'll order another one. And so I started taking all the parts off and everything, and we'll get around to taking this nut off the bottom, and I pull this handle off, a little screw falls out. And where'd that come from? Well, there's a little set screw. It was in the end right here. And that little set screw up into that brass thing I was trying to turn out. I'm like, now I remember. You're supposed to take this off, take a little set screw out, and the brass thing just turns right out. Like, bing, light bulb went on. I'm like, huh. Better don't forget that again. So that's the moral of my airbrush story. So that delayed me for a few days. So, anyway, I look around and trying to find parts just to rebuild this thing, which is the whole body. And, of course, the brass thing, the screw, and the little bushing thing goes in here. The whatever. I can't find parts anywhere. And, so I just ordered a brand new one, which is in this box back right there, that box. Or a brand new one set in that box. You can see it. Good God, that's hard. Or the box back there. You can see it over my shoulder, sitting on top of that white shelving thing. It's still sealed, not even been opened. There's a brand new Grex just like this in there. And right after I ordered it, my old buddy Chris over Diablo's workshop, I was talking to him about it. Well, about an hour later, he gets back home and says, "Oh, there's a place online that has all those parts." I was like, $60. Like, you're kidding me. So I get on the site that he sends me, start looking. Sure enough, they had all the parts. So I called them, because it had to be a fluke, or I don't know where they had them. I called him and told the guy the part numbers I wanted. And he said, "Well, they're special order, but yeah, I can get them." I said, "When can you get them?" He said, "Well, if I order them right now," he said, "the store's local, I'll have them tomorrow." Like, really? Well, how soon will I have them? He said, "Oh, by the end of the week." This was like a Tuesday or something. Like, no way. "Oh, yeah, $8 shipping." Send them to me. Well, Saturday, that new one, which I cannot point to whatsoever, and the parts for this one show up at the same time. So now I have this one and that one, and I suppose I could send that one back, but I've already broke the Badger and had to buy another one. And I've already broke this one, so there's a pretty good chance we'll break this one again. So yeah, you see where that's going. So that's my mechanical issues that helped me up, and it took me 8 minutes to tell you that. Sorry about that. So hopefully you got a laugh out of that at least. So I'm going to spin you around here and show you the truck that's taking so long to get done. And on the way around, I had a gentleman, I don't even remember, couldn't even tell you who it was now, had said he had a aquarium, a goldfish aquarium or something like that, and he wanted to see mine. This was back way back when. And so on the way around, I'm going to see if I can get the long arm of my camera here to hit the aquarium real quick, and I'll finish spinning you around and panning you down. So that's what we're going to do. So if I can get it to go around, there she is. There's the aquarium. You can see some of the filter down there. So there's the bigger aquarium. It's a 150-gallon aquarium. And it's loud right now because I have the top off the filter down there, which is a 40-gallon sump. And we're trying some different filter medias. So I'm having to run them a day or two and try them out. So that's what's going on over there. So here's the truck, and this is all fastened on, the bed's fastened on, motor's in, and I've been kind of, I don't know if it's been a slump or just because of it's a build I'm not keeping, I'm giving it away, or what. It's just not one of my best builds, and I'm doing a box stock. Everything here is out of the box. I was going to do more to it, and then it started taking so long that I didn't. And Again, it was that um, test shot, so there was no decals came with it. There was no instructions. And I had a little bit of decals left from the truck I started before that we had to mess up with on the paint. And so I went ahead and used, I had a black, just the Ford here, left. And I put that on the tailgate, so that's the only decal on the whole truck. That's all really I had left to use. So that's on the tailgate there. And I don't know if I can get it to zoom in any better here. And probably not. Right there. So that's the back end. The chrome's all been redone and re-chromed. You can see the interior's done, steering wheel's done now.
Thanks.
Oh,
Glad to help.
Shut up, Siri. I speak so bad that I turn her on all the time. I have the hubcaps on now. You can see the 4-wheel drive. Would you shut up? Freaking phone drives me nuts. You see the lugs now. Maybe. Well, get you down here and then zoom in. So the 4-wheel drive hubs. We'll stop shaking now. Coming through the hubcaps. Those look pretty good. It's got some real good detail. You know, it'd be a nice one to detail up. I like the little tube that comes from the header or the exhaust manifold up to the breather. That's a nice little add-on. I like that pretty well. And I just now noticed here just a few minutes ago, I had it all, was looking at it here upside down. Then I happened to look over here, the exhaust. That might be, we'll have to do some fancy finagling with that one. This part has to go under both of those cross members. So we may have to cut that somewhere and slide this piece in and then reconnect it. Because this piece I can get in there okay, but this piece I can't get under those cross members, so we may have to cut that and put it in. But that's what happens when you lay parts up here and you're not paying attention. So that's the truck coming along so far. I did paint. I put like the sides of the beds together this time. I think I showed you that. Painted it all and then assembled the bed together as a painted unit. Didn't care for that so much this time as I did putting it together and then painting it. Only thing is I got better finish on it this way as opposed to having it seem like I got a lot of rough overspray inside trying to paint down inside of a box, I guess I should say. So that's done. The hood I gotta do a little bit of, I just gotta buff it out and polish it. The hood will be done. The truck I've got to do the same thing, just polish and buff it, and it'll be same way, and do the trim on it, and then it'll be ready for the windows and of course all the chrome and stuff to go on that, which is already done, and it's been re-chromed and ready to go in the truck. So this has all been stripped, re-chromed, and ready to go in. So, and it's all done. Let's see, the only thing left to paint is I have, this is yet to paint, the exhaust you've seen, and the sun visor. Everything else is, fuel cap. Fuel cap and sun visor. So there's 3 pieces left to paint. Everything else, like the windshield washer bottle, is done. Batteries, brake boosters, all that stuff. Horns, batteries. The little, I'm gonna do just some dry brushing on the jack there, which I thought was a nice little detail they put in this time with this little jack. Should have had a handle on the firewall over here by the battery. Usually where the jack is, there's a handle somewhere here on the firewall. It goes with it. That would have been a nice detail. But hey, you got a jack. That's the least important. So maybe tomorrow we'll get it finished up. Who knows? And but when I do, I'll do a final video. So you probably won't see it again until final. And I'm gonna shut up now because it's already been a long video. And thanks for watching if you made it this far. And we'll talk to you next time. And bye bye for now.